What happens to your grocery bill when the U.S. slaps a 100% tariff on Canada and Canada hits back? You're not just paying more for maple syrup, you're paying more for gas, housing, cars, and probably your next burger. Welcome back to the comment section with Thomas Paul. Today we're breaking down how a tough-on-trade moment with Canada can quietly punch your wallet, your job, and your portfolio, all at the same time. Here's where things get interesting. On paper, this is sold as simple. Hit Canada with a 100% tariff, bring jobs back, make America richer. Sounds nice. So did the limited-time crypto projects everyone in my 30s told me I was dumb for ignoring. Here's the setup. North America is basically one giant factory. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico together move around $2.4 trillion of goods and services. Parts cross the border multiple times before they become a car, a house, or your breakfast. Here's the twist. When you slap a 100% tariff on imports from Canada, you're not just taxing them. You're taxing your own supply chain. In practice, it works like this. Canadian product comes in, the U.S. government doubles the price with a tariff, companies either eat the cost or pass it directly to you, but it's even getting worse. Let's start where it hurts first. Energy. Canada is one of America's biggest suppliers of oil and natural gas. That's fuel for cars, trucks, planes, and a lot of electricity. Tariff that, suddenly refineries and utilities are paying more. That cost flows into gas prices, airline tickets, shipping, and your power bill. Remember how everything got more expensive when gas spiked a couple years ago? Now imagine doing that on purpose. When I was a kid and my parents lost most of their savings trusting a smart bank advisor, I learned a lesson. The people in charge can make decisions that wreck your budget long after the press conference is over. This is one of those moments. And here's where things take a step further. Energy doesn't just affect your commute. It affects the price of literally moving anything, anywhere. So food gets more expensive. Those tomatoes that cross the border, the truck's fuel costs more, the fertilizer, often linked to energy prices too. Congratulations, your grocery cart is now a luxury item. Now let's talk housing. Canada is a major supplier of lumber and a ton of building materials. New homes, renovations, furniture, heavily dependent on cross-border trade. Put a 100% tariff on that lumber, builders pay more, developers slow down projects, fewer homes get built, and the ones that do are pricier. And here's where things take a step further. Higher building costs mean higher rents and higher home prices at a time when housing is already brutal. So while politicians shout about helping the working class, the help shows up as an extra couple $100 on your mortgage or rent. Next up, manufacturing. Think autos, machinery, electronics. Modern factories don't build everything in one place. A car part might start in Canada, get finished in the U.S., then go back across the border as part of a bigger component. You slap a huge tariff on that, every crossing becomes a toll booth. Automakers either raise prices, cut features, or cut jobs. Usually they start with layoffs because spreadsheets don't vote. But then the unbelievable thing happened. Canada does not just sit there and say, "Thank you." They retaliate. They put tariffs on U.S. exports, agriculture, machinery, maybe even tech and services. Now American farmers, manufacturers, and small businesses that sell into Canada suddenly find their stuff is too expensive up north. That means fewer orders, shrinking revenue, and maybe downsizing. So you get this fun combo. Higher prices for consumers and fewer opportunities for workers. It's like economic CrossFit. Pain from every direction. Here's where things get interesting. If you're a retail investor watching this, here's what matters to your portfolio. First, margins. Companies that rely on Canadian inputs, energy, materials, auto parts, food, see higher costs. If they can't pass that to customers, their profits get squeezed. Lower earnings, lower stock prices. If they can pass it on, inflation ticks up and the Fed gets cranky again. Either way, volatility. Second, exports. U.S. companies that sell heavily into Canada, industrial firms, agriculture giants, even some consumer brands, suddenly face tariff walls. Their sales forecasts become question marks. Markets hate question marks, but it's even getting worse. Third, investment. When trade rules turn into a soap opera, businesses delay big decisions. New factories, logistics hubs, cross-border AI data centers put on hold. Why commit billions to a supply chain if a tweet can blow it up overnight? I learned this working at a local paper in college. The same economic story could become boom times ahead or crisis incoming just by changing the headline. Trade policy is like that. The frame, we're protecting jobs, can hide the reality. We're injecting uncertainty into everything. Now add the AI boom into the mix. Data centers need huge amounts of power and hardware. Canada is a major source of energy and critical minerals that go into electronics and EVs. If tariffs jack up costs or slow projects, you get delays in chip production, infrastructure build-outs, and maybe slower AI rollout than the hype promised. And here's where things take a step further. So what should you actually watch next? Number 1, the exact scope of the tariffs. Is it really 100% on all Canadian imports or just on targeted industries like autos, steel, or energy? The broader it is, the more your everyday life feels it. Number 2, Canada's response. Do they target politically sensitive U.S. industries like farm states or swing state manufacturing? If yes, that's a red flag for bigger market volatility. Number 3, corporate earnings calls. Listen for words like supply chain disruption, input cost pressure, and my favorite corporate poetry, strategic realignment. That's boardroom speak for we might lay people off and close plants. But then he said this unbelievable thing, number 4, how this hits consumer sentiment. If people feel like groceries, rent, and gas are spiraling again, they spend less. Retail, travel, restaurants, even streaming can all take a hit when wallets go into defensive mode. Now, I'm not saying tariffs are always evil. There are strategic reasons to protect certain industries or push back on unfair practices. But pretending we can blow up a $2.4 trillion trade ecosystem without consequences, that's fantasy. When I was in my 30s, I ignored the hype and invested in boring, stable stuff. It didn't make me rich overnight, but it worked over time. Tariff brinkmanship is the opposite of that. It's flashy, emotional, and great for headlines, but terrible for planning and stability. Here's where things get interesting. If you're thinking, I'd love to cover this kind of chaos without ever stepping in front of a camera, this whole channel is basically your proof of concept. This video was created with Fludge.io, the same system that powers this entire channel. If you're watching this and thinking, I'd love to run a YouTube channel like this, but I don't want to be on camera, this is exactly for you. Fludge researches, creates, and posts YouTube videos for you, fully automated, but you stay in control. It finds trending topics in your niche, drafts a solid script, creates a thumbnail, plugs it into an AI avatar, and uploads. Your job? Review, tweak if you want, and hit publish. Over time, it actually learns your style. This isn't low-effort AI spam. If it were, you wouldn't still be listening. If you want to start a channel without burning out or learning video editing at 2 a.m., check out Fludge.io. But then the unbelievable thing happened. All right, let's land this. Here's the bottom line. A 100% tariff on Canada isn't some distant trade war story. It's gas prices, food prices, rent, jobs, and your portfolio, all tied into one messy policy experiment. You can't control what politicians do, but you can control how fast you notice the ripple effects and adjust. Watch your energy stocks, your consumer staples, your industrial names, and pay attention to what companies say about North America in their next few earnings calls. And quick disclaimer, nothing in this video is financial, legal, or tax advice. It's for education and entertainment. Do your own research and talk to a qualified pro before making big money moves. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this tariff strategy is smart leverage or self-inflicted damage? Drop your take in the comments, especially if you work in energy, auto, or cross-border logistics. You're on the front line of this. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe to the comment section with Thomas Paul, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next time a policy decision quietly tries to raid your wallet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.